Well, this lockdown has had some pretty horrendous bad hair days, hasn't it, ladies and gentlemen? Today, I went on the high street and I had my first major haircut of the last few months. I know there wasn't much on top, but here I am. Video update, July 2020. This has been a fascinating period since March 23rd when everything changed and lockdown came in. Everything has changed. As a church, we've had to do life differently. Online church, discovering fresh ways of being connected. Phone calls become Zoom calls. I want to say, church, you have been incredible. I've got a sense that you've really stuck in with this and sought to be connected and be family at this time. I hope you've enjoyed our attempts at trying to do online church. We're never going to please everyone, whether it's the music or the kids' work or whatever it is. We're learning as a team. It's been an honour to have people like Ben Grist and Anthony McFan helping behind the scenes to make our visuals really, really good. And midweek, I don't know about you, but I've really enjoyed praying with people. We have more prayer meetings than ever before, reading The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe together, doing lunchtime lockdowns. They've all been fun. And in addition to this, behind the scenes, we've been doing some amazing things. We managed to actually, with a fantastic team of Ken Morton, Graham Padden, Tim Curtis, to completely repaint, redecorate the inside of the main church sanctuary, which has been amazing. Plus, get the lighting sorted out and prepare ourselves for when we re-enter church life. Church has definitely, as I've said many a time, not been closed. It's been open and operating. And during this time, you need to realise that many, many people have been touched by Jesus, either through the love of this church in different ways, but actually, some have actually discovered Jesus for the first time. For example, on our Alpha online course, which has been absolutely magnificent. Our compassion ministries have really come alive. Food Bank has been a tremendous help to families. We're expecting more help is going to be needed as the autumn comes on. A meal delivery service operating out of the Open Door Centre. Last Friday, the 1,000th meal was given out to vulnerable and isolated people. We continue on with that as we move up to September. Renew, a new initiative from Kay Gray, helping people from care and from difficult backgrounds. They move into accommodation to have essential items. And our Compassion Fund, which many of you contributed into, we want to give space and opportunity as the autumn comes up, and we believe there's going to be extra pressure on people for them to be part of that and for us to make sure that we are fully supporting one another in this time. And one of the next few months, I've had lots of people asking the question, when are we going back into the church building? When are we starting services? And these are valid things to say, but I want to say, we want to only come in at the time when it is right to do that. We're not sat still during this time. We've not been closed. We are open, but we're not going to re-enter the building until we can take everyone or as many as possible with us too. We need wisdom. We need wisdom to know about that, but we need wisdom to listen to God as what he's saying to us as church and where he's leading. I think he's saying, just it said in James 1 we read the other day, ask him and he will show us, and he will show us the timings. We need to rest though, and we need to come out of rest. We have to minister out of rest. Psalm 23, which is on these pictures that have been produced by my daughter as a gift really to the church and to this new lounge to bring a bit of colour to things. And it picks up on the different verses throughout Psalm 23, that gorgeous psalm. And the psalm I really like is this psalm here. And the verse I particularly like in this psalm is this. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. And I've had a number of words that have been spoken over me in the last year or so about the issue of rest. And I feel like for the next few weeks, we need to have a time of just replenishment and refreshing ourselves. Not just as a staff, not just as a vicar, but actually each one of us to prepare ourselves for the challenges and opportunities that are going to be coming along in September. I feel that it's like a fallow period, just for 3 or 4 weeks or so, when as a church we're going to stand aside. Just like I grew up in the country And there you have a fallow period where you spend time allowing the land, the soil, to actually rest. And then it will enable that soil to produce great crops in the future. Because behind the scenes there's been a lot of hard work going on. We've had to put a few people on the staff on furlough, and then we've also been working to do a variety of different things to support you, to help you, and also to continue to reach out to the community. There have been things going on behind the scenes in terms of the staff themselves and their own personal challenges that they've faced within family. And so in many ways I just feel this is a time for us in this August to have a bit of a break, to step back and see what God is saying. It's been a great job up to now, but this fallow time, I believe, is going to prepare us for fresh things in the future. So what it means for the next few weeks, that in August, what we're going to do is still do Sunday 10 o'clock online worship on ccbarnet.tv. Do key in to that. The daily challenge, which goes out from Monday to Friday, which is a little email thing that goes through Church Suite, just to help reading the Bible and pray, that is still going to continue. Food bank, meal deliveries will still continue. But there won't be Zoom prayer. There won't be some of the other midweek opportunities that we've had. We're just going to have a bit of break from that. And I want to call us to 3 words over this period. Firstly, prepare, gather, pray. Prepare. What we're doing is we are, behind the scenes, preparing for re-entry to the building and church life. We don't know when that might be. It might be later on in the autumn, but we're beginning the preparation process. Physically, to prepare the building, to get it ready, to have a daily cleaning regime, to make risk assessments, to get things ready, to employ a cleaner on a more regular basis, to do deep clean, to enable us to find sanitisers and ways that we can fully welcome people back in. We're putting a task force together to enable us to do that. Practically, we want to know what you're feeling about the prospect of coming back into church. And so a survey has just gone out this week, a 10-minute survey, which you must fill in, please. It takes about 10 minutes. Each person that can in your household who is able to, it would be great if you could fill that survey in and return it to the office. And we want to do it by the end of next week, which is the end of July, and that would be really, really great, to be honest with us, to help us as we try and plan for the next stage. So we also want to be family. And we want to make sure that when we come back, we're confident that those that are vulnerable, those that are shielding, those that are maybe unsure about things in terms of coming back together, and families in particular that might feel a bit nervous, would be confident about coming. And in terms of also preparing, we're preparing for great opportunities in the next year. We're preparing for the fact that we're going to be having new ways of reaching out. We're hoping for this Pioneer Youth Worker to start at some point. And so we need to be preparing in terms of our finances, which will take a little bit of a hit in terms of lack of lettings and a few things, but generally they are okay. But if we want to press into the future, I just want to invite you and ask you to consider where your giving is in relation to things. I know it's not easy to think about that sort of thing, but if you could consider whether you want to commit to giving on a regular basis, it would help us as we're seeking to plan in some way towards things in the future. So firstly, prepare. Secondly, gather. We are beginning to be allowed to meet, but not in large numbers. And so we were hoping, for example, to do an outdoor church, but we can't do that yet. But we want to say, and I want to say, let August be a time to gather. Because you are allowed to meet. In 2 ways you are allowed to meet within the guidelines. Firstly, indoors, you're allowed to have 2 households together to socially distantly watch and do stuff together. Secondly, outdoors, you're allowed 6 from different households. So why not try these things as a church family? Let's build up community and gather during the August period. Maybe invite another household around indoors for the Sunday morning service and have a barbecue or a lunch afterwards. Maybe you could chat and pray through things. Or you could use the New Wine Breaks Out stuff that we're going to put out there for you to watch and those events to meet up and talk about things. Maybe invite a bunch around for an evening to chat, pray, encourage one another outdoors. Meet around a particular area and maybe again eat together and just spend time together, rebuilding relationships or spending time with one another. Invite a mixture of people around, people that you haven't known so well, just to get to know them so that we can be ready to come back really fired up because we know one another better. There are lots of resources around us you can gather. You could even gather by Zoom and look at some of the discipleship resources like the Bible Project Or maybe read a book together. Now, we're in a period of time where we want to work out what does it truly mean to be inclusive. We've been challenged by some of the things that have risen to do with the George Floyd and Black Lives Matter stuff that actually has challenged us, the church, to what does it mean to be inclusive in all areas, across the ages, maybe in terms of what does it mean to be a fully, openly church that allows disabled people to feel a part of things, or single people, or people from different ethnicities or backgrounds or whatever. What does it truly mean? And this book has really been a help in exploring particularly some of the issues to do with race and issues to do with things. It's called We Need to Talk About Race by Ben Lindsay. And it specifically talks about understanding the black experience in white majority churches. This is a must-read book. I want to encourage as many of you as possible to read it. I have myself ordered 20 of these books at £10. If you're interested in having one of these books, you can drop a tenner into me and I will get this book to you, okay? You can come to the vicarage anytime and pick up this book for August to read in relation to stuff, and maybe gather together with others and actually spend some time talking about it. So prepare, gather, and finally pray. We want to continually pray daily. That's why we've got the daily challenge. We've got a break from weekly Zoom, but that will come back at a later stage. But as we prepare for the autumn, later on in August, I want to invite the church to a week of prayer and fasting between the 23rd and the 28th of August, where we're actually going to focus on specific things that we can pray for and pray into. Prayer is fundamental. The prayer room is the boiler room for the spiritual life of the church. And so I want to encourage us to pray during this period. God is doing something in this country at this time. God is using this as a heaven-sent opportunity for us to reach the least, the lost, and the lonely. And he's going to equip his church in this time for that. He's going to equip us to make a difference on the streets. I sense that what he's doing is he's reaching out to people in those places, in the schools and the colleges, in the homes where we have been forced to think spiritually about what it is to know Jesus in that place. In our church, fresh challenge to press deeper into Jesus, to be led by his Spirit and to actively serve him. And under it all, as I finally finish, we need to learn what it means to love one another. We felt very strongly as a leadership team in the sense that the more loving we are, the more we are for one another, the more that will attract people into knowing this Jesus for themselves. As it says in John 13, a new commandment I give to you, that you love one another. As I have loved you, you must also love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another. So I encourage you, as you enter into the August time, a time when we're going to stand back and reflect a bit and pray, that we prepare our hearts, that we maybe consider gathering together with others in a sensible way, and we pray. We pray from the bottom of our heart for God to do what he wants, to see that transformation of Barnet beyond with the love of Jesus, one life at a time. Have a cracking August. God bless you.